Desde la cabina más importante de Long Island, en New York, infórmate de lo que pasa en tu barrio. En 3, 2, 1, arrancamos. Anthony from the Neighborhood en Latino Mix. Dale play a tu bocina.
Bienvenidos, señores. Aquí estamos sábados a las 11 de la mañana en el 2023. This is Saturday, 11 o'clock, and welcome to 2023, guys. And I can never stop welcoming people to the new year. There's a lot that happens every single year for so many people, and it's just a matter of you being a participant in your own life. So, señores, participe en tu vida y hágalo pasar lo que usted tiene, los logros que usted quiere cumplir, las metas. Halo hoy. Poquito a poco, no se desespere y sigue poniendo lo que sea, sus 2 centavos, para que usted vea que al final del año ha acumulado una fortuna. So that's what it takes, guys. 2 cents every single day, and at the end of the year, you're going to have yourself a fortune. How's that happen? Just show up. Show up and participate. That's really what it comes down to. So welcome again to 2023. There's a lot of, we're doing so much. I mean, look behind me. If you guys are checking this out on video, we're doing so much. The studio has changed so much. There's the logos behind us. There's a whole new set of screens and the website's getting updated. There's a lot happening here at Latino Mix. So make sure to tune in, not just to my show, but to all the shows, Monday through Friday. Everything is happening here, from the weather, the traffic, to what's going on in the news. I mean, even showbiz, whatever. These girls cover it from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. Make sure to check out La Dosis Mañanera. So with that, folks, let me give you a quick introduction to the show. If you haven't heard the show before, let me tell you what's happening. So this is the show where you discover the connectivity between communities. There's a power there. Hay un poder cuando uno conecta las comunidades y uno está conectándose con su vecino y conociendo cómo es su vecino. So, guys, connect with the community. How do you do this? Well, just simply step outside and say hello. Go to your neighborhood shop. Not just the big box chain stores. I mean, they're great. They employ a lot of people, but find out about that business owner who's been on that corner for 20 some odd years serving the community and the stories they have to tell. And that's what we're doing. We're also debunking what it's like to be from a certain place. So people sometimes say, you're from this neighborhood? I've heard about it. Really? Did you grow up there? Well, let me tell you, because I grew up there. And this is where we're getting people to come together, because now you really get to know the neighborhood from somebody who's actually from the neighborhood. So, señores, así usted va a conocer las personas, va a conocer los vecindarios. We're going to debunk and break through the headlines y hacernos conocer y unirnos nosotros aquí en este programa. So, again, guys, welcome to the show. And make sure you connect with me, whether it's on Facebook, Instagram, or any of the other channels that you decide to be on. From the neighborhood is how you're going to find me. So make sure to reach out to me. And if you guys got an amazing story, well, then let me know, because we got a lot to cover today. And that's just what we do, because this is the show, and there's nobody going to tell you better than, well, my man Dougie Fresh with his jam, The Show. Let's go.
De regreso con Anthony from the Neighborhood.
Yes. Welcome back. Bienvenido de nuevo. Y espero que le guste esa canción, Dougie Fresh, The Show. You know, that came out in 1986. Yeah, 1986, man. Let me go back to 1986. First of all, my brother was born, but bigger than that, because I'm a Mets fan. We actually won the World Series. So the year of the winners, and I bring to this show a bunch of winners. So welcome to the show. And that was the song that we got ourselves pumped up. As you know, every single Saturday, I got to try to get you guys up out of the bed and into the mood. So, señores, esa canción de 1986 es el año en que ganaron los Mets el campeonato de la Serie Mundial. Y aquí estamos en el programa para que ustedes conozcan sus vecinos. Y ese es el año del campeonato, obviamente, del equipo desde Queens. Y aquí estamos con campeones en este programa para escuchar mucho más sobre ellos. So, I've got a great story today. Tengo una historia hoy. And I'm not the one to tell it. Barely, right? I mean, I share some stuff with you guys, but I don't get into it super deeply. I mean, when the guests come on, I try to get their story, because they're coming from a different neighborhood that maybe you live in, maybe you wanted to visit, maybe you have a friend, and they're telling you a story that you might be surprised. You might wonder to yourself, man, like that could have been me, right? I was born in 86 or whatever year they were born in, or I'm that age, or I was that age, or I got a kid that's that age. And you might find yourself with a little bit of inspiration and say, this is somebody that I want to talk to. This is somebody that I want my kid to know, right? Or this is an industry or an association that I want to be connected to. So, señores, usted no sabe de dónde va a llegar la influencia, de dónde lo va a poner usted conectado a su próximo nivel. Y aquí, como estamos en este programa, ustedes saben que son gentes locales. Son gente locales que se están contando su historia y es relativo. So you're not going to get to somebody who's going to say, hey, I'm just famous. And no one knows how they got there. You're getting the blueprint of how somebody from the neighborhood who was probably listening to that jam back from 86 is here where they are today. And your boy's 1981, 41 years. That's right. Right here. Thank you very much for the compliments. I see them. They're pouring in. They're pouring in. Yes, thank you. Round of applause. But I've got a young guy who's here. And this guy's going to motivate you. This guy's going to inspire you because he's a lot younger than me. And he's making some pretty serious moves. And I think it's because of the way he looks at life. I mean, I'm going to let him say his thing. But I'm going to tell you guys that if you're going to do anything at whatever age, it doesn't matter, right? We've got the guy who founded Walmart, right? What's his name? Walter something. Any case, Walt Disney himself. I mean, the Colonel from KFC. They all started at a super late age. So there's never a wrong time. Nunca hay tiempo malo. Nunca es demasiado tarde. Pero hay que comenzar, como le dije anterior, hay que comenzar con algo, con un paso. So I'm going to go to one more break here because I want you to get up off that thing because you know you could do better. And you know that's my man right now, James Brown. So let me go to a quick break before I bring on my guest to inspire you and to get you going. Let's go with James Brown.
De regreso con Anthony from the neighborhood.
That's right. Let's take it back to 1976 with James Brown. Get up off that thing. And I'm telling you guys, get up off that thing because my guest right here is going to help you get inspired and find ways that you can start your own thing. Maybe it's not what he does, but you're going to find your own little flavor of something because when you see youth do what they're doing at the speed that they're doing it with the efficiency, and you've got all this technology, guys. Toda esta tecnología está aquí. Ustedes lo pueden hacer. So, dele apoyo a la juventud para que lo hagan y busca su sabor, su manera de hacer quien tú puedas ser. So, I'm going to enjoy talking to this guy. He's my guest here, Allon Avgi. Welcome to the show. How are you today?
I'm not bad, Anthony, from the neighborhood. How you doing?
Thank you. I love the way you tied it in. You know, I actually am changing my last name now at this point.
Are you?
Yes. I'll be like the artist with just a symbol.
I love it. This is an awesome setup you guys have here. I was going to
ask you, what do you think? It's a new setup.
I think it's beautiful. I like the backdrops. I like the lighting.
Thank you. It looks good on a screen, right? Like that's how they get the youth going.
I got it. Yeah, you look young.
Well, there's so many lights here. I tan every day. Well, listen. Let's talk about who is Allon. First of all, I'm going to state your age. Okay. Not to intimidate anybody. So, para que la gente no se intimiden, el muchacho aquí tiene 26 años, 26 years old. How do you feel 26 years old with all the things you've accomplished? And we haven't mentioned them, but how do you feel right now when you are at this age and you've gone through so much?
I don't always feel like I'm 26. You know, I feel like I'm older half the time because of all the stress that life and business puts on you as you get older, once you're out of school.
Yeah.
But I feel good. I feel just like a normal, like everything's normal, you know?
Yeah. So do you have a favorite video game or anything like that?
I never played video games.
So you sacrificed something. You had to cut out some of the strict diet now. It was business, numbers, and that's it.
I've always eaten healthy. I've never played video games. I almost never watched TV growing up.
Sports?
Nope. Only wrestling. And then I got into boxing. In Freeport. I boxed at Freeport PAL for a long time here in Long Island.
We're about to get into that because you traveled the island quite a little bit. So first off, the gentleman here comes from another country. So viene de otro país. Señor, esta persona es un inmigrante. Vino aquí desde Israel. You come here from Israel.
Yeah.
So you guys immigrated to this country. First place you landed.
So I was born in England. And then my family moved over to Israel. I spent a couple of years in Israel. We moved over to Jamaica, Queens.
Jamaica, Queens, out of like from England, Israel to Jamaica, Queens. What brought you over to Queens? What brought you over to New York?
Well, my parents at the time had no money. They had a business in Israel. It was going all right. It didn't work out when the Gulf War happened. It's around when I was born in 96.
Yeah.
Not 79, you know.
Or 86.
Or when you guys won the World Series in 81.
There you go.
I was born in 96. Gulf War kicks off. My parents lose the business. They come to America. Fresh, new start, new beginnings. I'm brought up. We kick off in Jamaica, Queens. My parents didn't love the atmosphere to raise us over there, and they didn't have many job opportunities back then. Father didn't speak English. Mom had to take care of us.
And what kind of business were they in?
They grew up in furniture business.
So, señores, estaban en la bueno, en el negocio de furnitura, o sea, muebles. Y llegaron aquí porque se armó una guerra. Y llegaron aquí como inmigrantes con nada. Entonces, esta historia usted la puede relacionar mucho a lo que nos están escuchando. Llegan a este país con nada en su bolsillo y tienen que comenzar de nuevo. No tienen el negocio, no tienen las conexiones, no saben el idioma. Eso es lo que me está contando. Y vienen desde Israel. Y muchas veces nosotros estamos pensando que solamente los que están viniendo, que son de Sudamérica, tienen el problema. No, señores. No solamente cruzando la frontera por donde nosotros lo estamos viendo siempre en la noticia. Es también por avión que están cruzando y teniendo los mismos retos y lográndolo. So you carried yourself over in an airplane. You're not necessarily crossing the border as we typically know.
Yeah.
But you had these challenges. No connections.
Zero.
Lost the business. And now your parents are like, this isn't the life we want here. They move you out to Long Island.
To Long Island. So we hopped around many times. My dad got a job in Wyandanch at a factory. No English again. And he also got hired as a day laborer half the time. So he learned construction through doing day labor jobs. Roofing, siding, flooring, all that stuff. Mom got a job selling mattresses at a local mattress store.
Yeah.
Because she spoke English.
Right.
So I was the eldest of the group, and we lived in a multi-family house. We lived in an attic. There was 5 of us sharing an attic, me, my siblings, and my parents.
Now, this is the attic with the pitch ceiling.
Yeah.
So you're ducking, right?
Yeah.
Señores, estamos hablando de un ático. El ático es el último piso de las casas. Y si usted ve, muchas de las casas tienen ángulos al techo. Entonces, se están dando por la cabeza. So you grew up pretty tall. How did you avoid that?
I got tall after 13 years old, so it kicked in later in life.
atrasó su crecimiento. Después de esa edad fue que él creció, después de los 13 años. Were you still there at 13 in the attic?
No.
Oh,
No.
so it gave you room to stretch.
Exactly.
They say something about sharks. If you put them in a small tank, they stay small. But if you put them in a larger tank, these be great whites, the 15, 20 footers, right?
I like that. Well, we would spend a lot of time outside, so I got a lot of room to stretch out there.
That's beautiful. And actually, here, it's a much nicer place to be, especially for me. I feel like it's less congested. Your yards are much bigger, right? Where were you here in Long Island?
So we jumped around. So we were in Wyandanch at a certain time. Mm-hmm. We moved over to Islip Terrace, which is near Central Islip and East Islip. It's in between. Then we hopped over to Oakdale, and we lived in a multi-family house over there, which later in life my parents ended up buying, and that inspired me to get into real estate. So Oakdale is where I primarily grew up.
Wow. How old were you when your parents bought that home?
Maybe I was 13-ish.
13, when you started to grow. And it also
Give or take.
It helped your mind grow too, right?
Oh, yeah.
So, señores, es el ejemplo de lo que tú haces puede causarle algo a sus hijos para que ellos comiencen una carrera de ellos mismos. Los padres de él compraron una casa cuando él tuvo 13 años. El momento que él está creciendo. So this is the point where you're like, you're hitting that age where all of a sudden, weird stuff is going on in your body. But at the same time, you're seeing the world around you change. So you look at this and your parents came with nothing and they started to establish something. What were some of the things, that challenges you saw your parents go through that you were like, you know what, let me do something that I'm 13 years old, able-bodied. What can I do to help them? So this doesn't continue to persist through generations. What did you see there?
Well, before that is when I actually started helping. So, and just like most immigrant families, you have no choice. You have to help when you're young.
Yeah.
So I was just selling whatever I could throughout elementary, middle, and high school. I was selling erasers that I would buy for 5 cents a piece and sell them for a quarter.
No, hold on a second. Señor, estaba vendiendo borradores. This guy was selling erasers 5 cents and then flipping it for a quarter?
A quarter, yeah.
Por 5 centavos es lo que él lo conseguía y lo vendía por una peseta. And you were how old?
I was young. I was maybe I was a little kid.
I mean, erasers.
Yeah.
At one point, the teachers are like, you need to use a pen.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, no, it was back then. It was like a thing. We all had pencils, but I managed to get my hands on these cool erasers.
Wow.
And I was like, all right, perfect. I could sell these.
Unbelievable. So we're talking about, let's see, something in the 90s. Is it around there? What was cool? It was a Pokemon eraser?
Stuff like that, yeah. Pokemon,
Yu-Gi-Oh,
Yu-Gi-Oh erasers, exactly.
Yu-Gi-Oh. Yeah. I'm trying to remember back. I'm going back into the times where I would see kids play with stuff. And,
early 2000s.
We had the pencil cases back then. There were these boxes.
Yeah.
And then you would put up the pencils. They look like rocket launchers. Well, did you guys have that?
I don't remember,
No?
to be honest.
You guys had Trapper Keepers? Like these big binders with the Velcro? Any of that kind of stuff?
I don't think so, no.
No? All right. Well, you flipping erasers. So
Yeah.
I was going to say, did you upgrade to like, binders and pencil cases? Like
No. I wasn't
book
Staples
bags?
or Office Max. I was like a mini, just eraser dealer.
So what was your next venture? What did you start doing?
So now you're growing up a little bit. We're in middle school. We all have bicycles. And I would ride my bike to the local golf course.
Yeah.
So it was in Sayville. It was a town over. So it was like a 25, 30-minute bike ride. I'd ride over there, and I got a gig caddying for these wealthier guys that would just play golf all day.
Wow. So you're carrying the heavy bags, but you're a strong guy, man. Were you doing wrestling at that time?
No, not yet.
Not yet.
Just trying to make ends meet, babysitting brother and sister when mom and dad were at work all day. When the lady downstairs would take care of us, I'd try and head out and hustle for a couple dollars.
I love this because this is all common ground. This is a story, by the way, that's very relatable to a lot of Latinos. So we're on Latino Mix. My show goes a lot of it being in English and then in Spanish. I translate it over. And I know that the folks who are listening to this that speak English, that are the first generation American, that their parents, same scenario, and they're the ones who speak English, are like, yep, that was me.
Yeah.
That was me. Now, you're not Latino, right?
No.
So at this point, people are looking at this like, wait a second, we're not the only ones. There's tons of people that are going through this sort of struggle, this battle, this evolution of themselves. And it has nothing to do with the color of your skin, where you were from, your nationality, your belief, none of that. And your story, by the way, is very similar to, I would say, very similar to my mom's when she came over from the Dominican Republic.
Yeah.
And she had to look after her, her mom and the older siblings. And she was like one of the first ones to actually go to school here. So it's like, it's a super relatable story. And then myself, even, with my parents, translating things over, because it was like some of it, they got it, some of them they didn't, and they, setting up their own business. So buying this multifamily house, this was the big pivot.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah. What was the thing that your parents were like, we got to get something?
Well, that was the second big pivot. Here's where the big pivot happened. My mom is selling mattresses. She's doing a good job. The owner of the mattress store goes off and opens a bigger store. Now, he can't be between both. And my mom's a smart woman. She goes, you know what? Let me buy this store from you.
Wow.
And I'll pay you in payments because we don't have the money right now. So at this point, my dad gets hired to deliver the mattresses by my mom.
Yeah.
And my mom buys out the store. Now my parents are partners, naturally.
Yeah.
And dad started learning the language through me and my brother and my sister.
Yeah.
And we bought this mattress store. It's a very small mattress store in Copeg.
No, listen, I got to say, way to blow off the lid on the top, on the plot, and then just like blow the top off, because I'm here thinking, all right, they got the house, hard-earned W-2 money that came home, that she's working a job, he's working a job, right, and wine dash, and they buy themselves a house. But now at this point, your mom saw an opportunity and you guys actually became business owners.
Correct. My parents, not me.
Wow.
My parents become a business owner.
It's the family. It's the last name. I looked at it. Look, my father had a grocery store, and before we had a house. And when the landlord knocked on our door and said the rent's up $200, my mom's like, "Are you kidding me? Oh, you just had a kid." What? And my mom stepped out to go buy a house. My father did not want, but we did it.
Which is huge.
Yeah.
That's a pivoting point.
Yeah, exactly. So, but the business came first. And I think that's something that, you get here and you're like, I want to belong to society in some sort of way. And a lot of times businesses are the first entry point because it's the easiest one to attain. It seems like it's the lower ticket price. Maybe there's some motivating factors. So how long did you guys stick with this business?
So my parents had that business until I got them out of it a couple of years ago.
He got them out of it. Señores, él sacó sus padres del negocio. And that wasn't because you deflated every mattress, right?
No, absolutely not. I worked in that store for years. I worked in furniture, carrying mattresses and box springs and bed frames and furniture. God, I hated that manual labor for years. I did it.
Hate it or love it, man. It's the game. It's the game.
Had to do it.
It's the game. And you actually got into the furniture business yourself. You started selling furniture as well. Was that through the store, or did you start expanding their business? What did you do?
So we'll run through this. Mom gets this store, right? I end up, my parents come home. They're like, you're a big boy now. You got to take care of your brother and sister a little more. Yeah. I'm like 10 years old at the time. Like, no problem. I hit 12 years old and I'm like, okay, I'm smarter than, caddying and doing all these side hustles. I want to get into something that can make me more money.
Right.
And faster. So you're only 12 years old. People look at you as a child. I felt that out quickly, right? Still, till this day, I still get that same feedback sometimes in real estate. So what happens? I end up figuring out the internet, and that you could sell things online and people don't know how old you are behind a screen. This is before Amazon, Wayfair, Overstock took over.
Yes.
So I start this website. And the website was selling furniture. And it was very basic back then. I would go through catalogs at my parents' store. I'd upload it, and I'd write my own write-ups of the, of the furniture. I'd be a little creative. I'd see what my parents are selling it for, and I'd sell it for 10% less. And people in California would order it from me. People in Iowa.
Incredible.
All over the country.
Wow, incredible. So then eventually your parents have like a gigantic store operating out of a computer.
Yeah, well, that was my online store.
Yeah.
That was, my parents had the furniture store. They were so proud of me. I did it myself. They really couldn't help other than me using the store to bring in furniture. So what would happen? I'd bring in furniture from wherever the manufacturer was. Let's say it's from India, Mexico, anywhere. We'd import it. I already have the money. I already made the sale. The money's in the bank account, right? So I'm utilizing that money to order the furniture. Comes into the store. Anything that's damaged, my father would fix up with everything he's learned throughout the years. Right. He'd fix up and we'd keep it in the store.
He worked in construction, so he knew a little woodwork and things like that, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
We'd refund the customer. We'd get a discount from the sellers, from the manufacturers. So now my parents have furniture at a discount in the store. That was huge. And then I'd order the second set and send it to the customers.
They were like a refurbished item, kind of, right?
Exactly. Yeah. But it's brand new.
Incredible. So I got one thing here before we go to a break. You, in that game of furniture, right? The game that made you. Let's say, what did you love about it?
Man, I just love the experiences of hustling every day. Buying something for less and selling it for more, and just the challenges in between.
Now, I could take a guess at what you hated, but what did you hate about it?
Damages. Oh my God.
Yeah, I thought it was carrying the furniture in and out.
Carrying it, you know what? I didn't hate it. In the beginning, I was like, it was all right, but then as you, just like flipping erasers and caddying, as you do something for so long, you're like, hey, I can do more. I can be better.
Oh, man. Well, listen, I'm going to give you a pound right now for sticking to the game. And I'm going to go to a quick break with the song from the game, Hate It or Love It, because the boy's on top. Let's do this.
De regreso con Anthony from the Neighborhood.
Bienvenidos, señores. Espero que le gustó esa canción. That's Hate It or Love It. Aunque te guste o no te guste, ese es el juego. And it's actually, the artist is called The Game. But I want to catch you guys up. Quiero que ustedes sepan lo que está pasando. De lo que acabaron de escuchar es que este muchacho comenzó a muy temprana edad, siendo muy responsable para su familia y atendiendo el negocio de su familia. So, usted está ahí acogiendo experiencia, no solamente de los libros, lo que está leyendo en la escuela, pero experiencia del trabajo laboral, o sea, con las manos y también con la mente. Porque después de ahí él dijo, déjame pensar, ¿cómo puedo vender este producto donde me cogen en serio, pero no me llegan a conocer? Y ahí estamos hablando del Internet. O sea, las páginas de Internet vendiendo por comercio. Antes de que estas páginas grandes comenzaran, lo que estamos hablando es como el Amazon. Maybe Amazon was just selling books, by the way. That's probably the only thing they were selling at that time, because that's how they started. So, antes de que estas compañías cogieran todo el control, él pudo buscar esta manera de vender esa furnitura, esos muebles, y había muebles que tenían daño. Y con lo que aprendió su papá de otro trabajo anterior, lo pudo arreglar y lo pudo revender. So, big congrats to you, man. Big round of applause for not just repurposing stuff, because that's good for the planet. In my opinion, I think nothing should really be going to waste if we can, have the brain to put it together. But also expanding your family's business on a whole nother level. Which I know you say, hey, that was my thing and this was my parents' thing. But, I always look at it like we're all in this thing together.
Oh, yeah.
At the end of the day, we're all sharing meals, and as far as Earth goes, even if you don't know your neighbor, the air you exhaled is inhaled by somebody else, right? We all know the recent event that reminded us of that, right? Because we were all wearing masks. But what I'm saying is that we all share this. We're in a bubble. We're just here to make it as best of a bubble as we can. Right? So, señores, aquí estamos en el mundo y hay que compartirlo y hay que saber que nosotros estamos súper conectados uno al otro. Y esto es una cosa bellísima, escuchar esta historia de este muchacho. Y vamos a regresar con Allon. Allon, now we're past furniture. You said you did something, and the song even said something here. It's happy that his mom doesn't have to pay rent, right? The game says it. You took your parents to another level where they're not working anymore in the same space.
No, not at all.
What's happening?
So I start a real estate business when I'm 21 years old. I'm 20 years old now. I'm in college. I get into all the schools I wanted to get into, but one of them was just too expensive, the one I really wanted to go to. It's too expensive. Keep those grassroots mentality like, hey, expenses are bad.
Yeah.
You want more income, less expenses. So I pick a school that I get a solid scholarship to, Hofstra University.
Oh, right here on the island.
Yep.
Okay, big shout out to Hofstra University. He's a alumni.
Yeah, big shout out. So
awesome.
I go to Hofstra. I get involved in the startups club, all this stuff, and I'm like, I start this business, right? This startup. It was pretty cool. It didn't work out. I lost my money. I lost $100,000 that I saved.
Wow.
Yeah. So at this point, I'm a kid. I'm 20 years old. I spent 2 years working on a new business while still side selling furniture, you know.
You got college responsibilities.
I'm paying for college, paying for my car, paying for my phone bills, paying for everything.
Y perdió $100,000 en un negocio que él estaba tratando de hacer. Y esto es un tiempo donde él está en la universidad tratando de hacer muchas cosas que los otros estudiantes están haciendo y más allá, porque está responsable por lo de su familia. Right? You're still responsible for a lot of things within your family.
Tons.
And you lose $100,000.
I lose $100,000, which is all my money.
Oh.
And I'm like, okay, I can make money fast. I am a born hustler. I'll figure out how to make quick money.
How many erasers did you get? It's a college campus. They need erasers, man.
I pivoted. People didn't know how social media worked yet, these small businesses. And even still today, people don't know. So what I did was I went down 110, which is a furniture row in Farmingdale, Melville. And I went door by door. And I'm like, hey, do you have social media? And most stores were like, we don't. And I'm like, I will run your social media for you for $500 a month, for $2,000 a month, for this much. How much do you want? How much social media do you want?
Yeah.
And because I know how much furniture stores bring in, so they have enough to make, to invest $500 to $2,000 a month.
Right. You were in the market. Exactly. Your parents were in the business.
So now I'm making quick money. I'm making $10,000 net a month from managing a couple stores' Instagram accounts and Facebook accounts.
Nice.
And I started another business just flipping clothes and stuff, and it was an animal account that I created on social media. Long story short, I'm like, all right, I need to get into a new business that I won't lose all my money right away because I don't want to get a job after college.
So you took a skill that you already had or something you were already exposed to, and you said, hey, you know what? Let me go out there and let me consult and help build and, plug in what I know because I'm doing it already.
Yeah.
Señores, estas son cosas que están enfrente de ella. Esta generación se está criando con la tecnología enfrente y es cuestión de que ellos vean manera de que lo pueden utilizar para ganarse su vida. And you could have been just using it. You could have been, I don't know, doing the whole duck face and, doing the side shot, I don't know, whatever, showing just flexing muscles. But you decided, hey, I can do something with this. And you knew a market. Your parents were in it. You go right there.
But there was more to it. You see, which is what I want listeners to understand.
He's doing it again, folks. He's pulling out more. What's up?
So when you do something that anybody else can do, you need to figure out an angle that people will want to hire you. So what I did was I found this software that would let me like, share, comment, whatever on people's social media accounts.
Okay.
So when I went to these stores, I was like, hey, I know anybody could do this. I know your daughter can do this. But what your daughter can't do is like 1,000 other people's pictures a day. And they're like, how do you do it? I'm like, we have a program that'll do it. It's encompassed in your $500 a month. Took us years to get this sorted out, and now you're going to get it in a day for $500 a month.
Wow.
And that was the selling point. So people signed on.
Right.
You don't just make $10,000 a month by just, selling something anybody else could sell. You got to have an angle.
Yeah. You found a pain point because, they're running a business. They don't have the time to sit there looking through all these accounts and, like you said, liking them or engaging, right? Interacting.
Well, you find their problem. So they would say, hey, I've already tried SEO. I've already tried Google Ads. That didn't help my Instagram account.
Yeah, you get that sort of thing. Eso pasa en la vida. Uno prueba un sabor y dice, ya, ese sabor no me gustó. Like you try something, you're like, I don't like the flavor. You drop it, right?
Yeah.
But then you get this fresh twist to it. Now,
exactly.
How long, right? Esta es la palabra, señores. O sea, vamos a ver la fórmula secreta. ¿En cuánto tiempo fue que él recuperó esos $100,000? So how long did it take you to get those 100,000 back?
I never got the 100,000. I got 40,000.
40.
Yeah. When I got to 40,000, I said, now it's time for me to do something different. So for my future, so I don't have to get a job. And I went to my parents and I'm like, hey, furniture is getting crushed. Wayfair is killing everyone. Overstock.com has become extremely popular. And Amazon just released LTL trucking, which is less than truckload. Now they're selling furniture. I'm like, we're done. This business is going to get destroyed. We need a way out.
Yeah.
And my dad is like, I have $40,000 saved up, or I have $50,000 saved up. What do you want to do? I'm like, well, we bought these houses, right? You guys bought this house. And that house has supported us when the recession hit. Right. So let's buy more houses. We're partners. I love you guys. You're my parents. Let's do it together. Dad,
right, you have to respect your parents, right? Like you're at this point, you're like, wait, I don't know. I'm crossing something over. His dad owned a furniture store, right?
Yep.
And then he lost it, came to America, worked construction jobs. Then your mom comes across the opportunity, gets another one.
Yep.
And now you're telling them, let it go. This is going to get crushed. So, señores, él está diciendo a sus padres que está en la mueblería, dejen esto, no va a funcionar. Like, how do you go and not lose respect? Like, how do your parents not look at you and say, hey, kid, who the heck do you think you are? This is how we've been eating.
Yeah.
So, él llega a sus padres y le dice, sin faltarle respeto, papi, mami, vamos a tener que hacer otra cosa. How did that go over with them?
Well, they've always respected me and been extremely receptive to my feedback because I did well when I was young.
Yeah.
So they're like, all right, we know Allon.
It's the erasers. You're like, Dad, let me erase a mistake we're about to make.
I love it.
That's it. So you jumped the gun, and your dad, they're receptive, they're interested. What was the first thing you guys looked at?
I said, I found a house. It's in Long Island. It's going to make us, $5,000 a month once we're done with it. Let's buy this house together. My dad's like, well, I need some money on the side for your brother and sister and for if you can't make your college payments, whatever. I'm like, okay. So we agreed he needs 10 grand. He put up 40, I got to 40, and we split it down the middle and we bought this house.
Wow. Can I do my numbers real quick? So you're saying 26 when you were 20. So this was just 2017, 2016.
It's 2017, April of 2017.
Wow.
So I was 21.
No estamos hablando de una historia de que usted diga, oh, yo compraron esa casa en tal tiempo, yo no puedo regresar el reloj. Estamos hablando de 6 años atrás comenzaron con su primera inversión. So this is catapulting you now. So now you're getting this $5,000 cash flow, right? So you got a little money. You didn't lose your parents' respect, right? Where does it start to change now where you start getting some power and you start making some power moves?
Yeah.
Where's that come in?
So at this point, we buy the house. We took a hard money loan, right? We took a big risk, 12%, 2 points, 14% interest we're paying.
But hold on, la gente se están quejando de que el interés está alto. Estaban pagando 14% de interés en una propiedad que estaban especulando. No la iban a disfrutar ellos mismos. You're speculating, right? You're like, hey, I'm at 14%. Let me see what I can do with this thing here. So I'm telling people, you're complaining 6-7%. This guy's at 14 plus he paid just to get the loan.
Yep.
And this is because you have confidence this is going to work.
Exactly.
So tell me, is this the move now where you got, like I said, you got your parents' respect. You started to get a little bit of money. Is this the move where now you start making power plays?
Yeah, that was the beginning, for sure, no question. So Dad and I had to come up with money to pay down the loan as fast as possible. Mom, Dad, and I. Well, I would come up with $5,000 a month. They'd come up with $5,000 a month. Mind you, I'm 21 and I still am in college. So I'm hustling, getting more accounts. People, some people are dropping, signing up with other people. Some people are signing on, starting to get more popular.
Yeah, the Instagram business.
Yeah, digital media.
Okay, it's still happening. All right.
Yeah, just like any business, they exponentially get more popular as more people catch on.
Correct.
Just like AI now, but that's a whole nother discussion. So I'm paying down $5,000 a month. Dad is too. And I'm like, all right, we're rented out. We have the money coming in after Dad did the construction because he knows he's experienced in that space. So my dad's working with, the subcontractors and stuff. Then I find another house and I'm like, let's do it again. And they're like, all right, let's do it. First one's working out. Let's do it. Boom. We do another one. We do another one. Then I learned how seller financing works.
Wow.
So I get this guy, instead of 14% interest, I get this guy to agree to hold a mortgage at 6% interest. So now we're like, my parents are like, you're a genius. And I'm like, I don't know. I think there's still room to grow here.
Yeah.
And we're just doing it,
And this is all malleable stuff. Like, it's not set in stone. Like you're not necessarily walking into one particular scenario of a home or a purchase of a home and it having to be exactly the same way that you purchased the last one. Señores, la compra de casas no es lo mismo en cada venta. Se trata cosa diferente, hay diferentes motivaciones. It's like buying a business. The person who bought the big furniture store, right? Going back to the story about your mom, couldn't run both stores. And your mom saw the opportunity, was like, hey, you know what? Let me alleviate you of this headache because I really want to get into something. And boom, there's the opportunity that opens up because they're running a bigger operation. But the small one, it's kind of ignoring it, right? At some point, for that business owner, it becomes a hemorrhage, that little one, right?
Correct.
So they did the smart thing. They unloaded. And for your mom, it was that boost, right? It was that step up.
It's just like me. I have 400 units now. I no longer want to look at houses.
Man, this guy took it fast forward. 400 units.
Yeah.
He's not looking at a one family house like you did. Where was the first one, by the way?
In Nassau County.
So you're not looking at small things anymore. You just, at this point, it just sort of compounded.
Yeah.
One on top of another.
Now I don't want to look at stuff under 50 units at a time.
Wow. So real estate, not for nothing, has really been the key to life.
For me, yes.
Yeah, it has. It has definitely been the key to life. And you know what? I love the fact that you guys have kept it humble. I met your parents. Conocí los padres de ellos. Ellos tienen un respeto mutual. No se están llevando uno por encima del otro. El ego no es la parte de la conversación. Ego is not part of the conversation. It's working together, bringing it home. And truthfully, that's how you've kept the respect. And congratulations on building up that cash flow and now doing these power moves. I mean, like I said, it's the key to lives. And you know what? Not for nothing, the best people to tell you that, to open up the keys, well, first you got to have a lock, right? You got to have a door. And I'm going to throw on this jam right here from The Locks. Money, power, respect. Let's go.
De regreso con Anthony from the Neighborhood.
Bienvenidos de nuevo, señores, y aquí estamos con nuestro invitado Allon, que nos está contando desde la temprana edad que él comenzó los negocios de sus padres, la manera que se buscó la vida y ayudó a su familia y se ha mantenido unido hasta el punto que ya son dueños de 400 apartamentos, unidades, o sea, no simplemente residencial, también tienen comercial. Y este es un muchacho ejemplar de que a los 26 años está logrando esto y solamente comenzó hace aproximadamente 6 años, right? It's still 6 years, right? You start?
5.5, yeah.
5.5, yeah, New Year's throwing me off. So, señores, no es mucho tiempo atrás donde él vino a comenzar y esto es para inspiración a ustedes. No es para que él se esté dando y luciendo y rompiendo el ojo como ustedes estén pensando. No piensen así, señores. Mírenlo como inspiración. Mírenlo como que esto es posible si ustedes se aplican. Y como le estaba yo diciendo, cuando conoció el programa, hay que poner sus 2 centavos. So just like I said when the show started, you have to put in your 2 cents. You have to participate. Be a player in the life. And you never know where it's going to get to. Sometimes the circumstances just line up, right? Planets line up, whatever you want to call it. And all of a sudden, the opportunity gives you a breakthrough. So congratulations on all that success. We're talking 400 units. That's where we left off. And where are we now? What you're not looking at little things anymore. What are you looking at?
No, it was momentum, Now I look at warehouses. I look at shopping centers. I look at triple net deals, when one tenant and they pay everything and there's a corporate guarantee, safer stuff, and big apartment complexes.
Yeah. That's interesting. So you obviously started where, you had to do a lot of the grunt work.
Of course.
There's still a lot of work, but you're not unclogging a toilet.
No.
All right. What kind of things have you put into place in your life to keep the sanity?
Well, I'm lucky I have my father. Because he handles all the back end.
The family, yeah.
Yeah, and my mom too. So when we got to like 15 houses, I was like, all right, Dad, I need you, more than ever because I'm growing fast. And he's like, I see it. I will leave the store. I'll close down the store and I'll come be with you. And my mom's like, well, what about me? She's like, I can run the store by myself.
Yeah.
So that's what we did. My dad left the store. He came to work with me full time, and I went on a rampage of buying. I learned how to raise money. I learned how seller financing works. At this point, I'm full time, just me in the office. I hire one girl to be in the field and collect rent. Dad's helping her. Dad is hiring subcontractors and running around from site to site.
Yeah.
Now we have 3 people full time, right? That back then.
Yeah.
This is 3 years ago. Right now, I have 25 people full time, and
incredible.
And then fast forward 2 years later, as I get to like 100 units, are a little more than 100 units. I'm like, Mom, you can help us too.
And you're spread out. You're not just sticking to like one zip code or one neighborhood, one town, one county.
Not at all.
You're spread out.
Yeah.
So we're talking about, like, if you're talking these triple net places, this can be another state.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's what happened. So 2019 comes around, right? I started in 2017, and all the laws in New York changed.
Yes.
As a landlord.
Esa es la reforma de la alquileres, and that's the rent reform, right?
Yeah, you remember.
Mm-hmm.
And when the laws changed in New York City, it trickled down to Long Island, upstate, all these places. And I'm like, okay, New York's going to be in a tough spot for a couple of years. Yeah. I'm not a rich person. I don't come from a wealthy family.
Let's let that be heard, because people think, 100 units or whatever amount of units. You could have a dozen units. And then people say, he's the landlord. He doesn't need the money, right? Let that be clear that this is tough work and the margins are very slim. So you can't just take the money and blow it every single time you've collected the rent. Yeah. Señores, no colectes renta para comértelo y consumírtelo en ese mismo momento, because anything can go wrong and you need to tap into those reserves. So tell people some of this stuff, you've got to have discipline, no?
Yeah, big time. You got to keep expenses low. Remember, at this time, when I'm telling the story, I have 3 people. Even for me, that was a ton at the time. And I have like whatever amount of units, 30, 40.
Wow.
But you don't make a lot of money as a landlord until you're done with the debt, hypothetically, right? Or if you have 500 to 1,000 units, you don't start seeing real money.
Right.
So, and real money is different for everyone. But then my mom leaves the store. I'm being disciplined, everything. I hire another person. At this point, we're working out of my house. I rent a house for myself. We convert one of the bedrooms to an office, downstairs into an office.
You rent one of your own houses to yourself.
No, I'm leasing. I'm leasing. I don't own my house.
Wow.
Yeah, I lease because it costs less to lease than it does to buy your own house.
Yes.
So
incredible. So you've got a lot of spinning plates.
Yeah.
And like I said, folks, this happened recently. This isn't something where, the gentleman's talking about 30 years, the second generation, family passed it down. No, this isn't like that. This is, grassroots.
Yeah. 2 years ago, there was 3 of us. Today, there's 25 of us.
Wow. Congratulations on all the accomplishments. Now, where are you? I mean, are you even here? I mean, obviously in the studio, but are you like a local guy? Do you go to the local coffee shop? Like, do you know the neighborhoods?
I'm from the neighborhood, baby.
Nice, man. You know what? You led right into it and it was perfect. But I got to know, what are your favorite places?
Favorite places? What a great question. I live in Belmore now, Belmore, New York. I'm on Merrick Road very often. I go to the gym at Lifetime in Garden City. I post about it all the time. I love that gym.
So you're not a guy who's living on a yacht that's no one's going to ever see cross the road. Like you're just like everyone else.
Yeah, I used to go to LA Fitness my whole life. Yeah. I went to LA Fitness in Patchogue, and then I moved out west, and I go to Lifetime now. I go to the local coffee shops for tea and stuff.
Got a favorite?
No, I don't. You know what? I do love Toast. Well, listen, Toast in Patchogue?
No, I don't.
Love that place.
Is that right?
It's a local spot in Patchogue Village.
What are they serving? What's on the menu?
I get avocado toast and hot tea every time I'm there with honey.
Well, if it's called toast, I figured avocado toast would be on the menu. I'm pulling out something here from the side. And if you guys are looking online, we're going to start something new for 2023 where I ask a question that I don't even know I'm going to ask. Right? Okay. I'm pulling out of a random deck of cards. And we do this towards the end because I always want to get to know a little bit about you from none of the questions in the normal flow of conversation, but from a deck of cards that just has a random question. And I promise it's going to be nice. This one here is the question saying, this fits real nicely. We were talking about technology and all the innovations. What do you hope will be the next big invention?
What do I hope?
Yeah.
I hope it's something health related. I hope it's something to cure some sort of illness that people have.
Tell me, expand on that.
Most of my family dies of cancer.
Yeah.
So cancer is devastatingly sad for the family. If somebody created a cure for cancer, I'm all in on it. I'd support it 1,000%. Something to just help people because, man, seeing sick people kills me. You know, those poor people. It's illnesses just devastate life, and I just want people to be happy and do better for the world. So forget business for a second. I just want a better world.
No, I love that. It demonstrates heart. I mean, you obviously had heart, passion to develop your business, to set up your hustle, to watch for your family. But this is heart, and I wish you a lot of success because if you have success and someone comes along with the idea, with the possibility to cure an illness, you know, such as cancer, disease like that, I know that you would be able to, step up and give them what they need. Maybe have the facility, maybe the warehouse, so they can set up the laboratory or fund it, whatever be the case. So I wish you a lot of success. And, this is why these questions work out the way they work out. And this is something new we're doing for 2023. We really want to get to know people that are from the community, their backstory, what they're accomplishing as a local notable, but now what does the future hold? And
I love it. And money's great. Don't get me wrong. Money helps you in life a lot. If I sold some of my properties, I would have a fortune, but as a kid. But I realize I'm still young, so my youth is extremely important. I want to stay young. I want to just have a great time at my age. I gave up most of my childhood to make money.
Yeah.
So now I'm lucky. I'm 26. I could still enjoy my childhood.
Yeah.
But health is key.
Well, listen, man, I appreciate it. You got a big heart, and that's really cool. And I wish I could give you a big gift of any of the things you just mentioned here. But I know that if I brought you a little bit of home to the studio, you would be very happy. So I'm going to do my best to pronounce it here because here you got an artist from back home. He's pretty popular, and I hope I got the right one. It's Hanan Ben Ari.
Hanan Ben Ari.
Ben Ari.
Yeah, he's amazing.
There you go, Hanan Ben Ari.
Religious guy, he's incredible.
Yeah, well, there's a song here that I really have no way of pronouncing. So let's see if it's the same one I got written down. You say it, and I'll just see if it's the one that I got here.
A big song. He's got a couple good ones, but I'm going to guess you have Aluf Haolam.
Aluf Alam.
Aluf Haolam.
Haolam. Yeah, that's it. I was saying Alam. Haolam.
Aluf Haolam because it's on top of the world.
Hey,
so you guys did some research.
You're sitting on top of the world. My man, what a way to end the show, man. Love this here, guys. We're going to wrap up the show today. And thank you so much for being here, Allon. Big pound, man. Thank you very much for coming to the studio. We had a great time here, folks. And as you know, we're going to bring on so many local notables. Mucha gente que son locales, que tienen buenas historias. So between now and then, I'll be seeing you back in the neighborhood and leaving you with this jam from Hanan Ben Ari.
Desde la cabina más importante de Long Island, en New York, infórmate de lo que pasa en tu barrio. En 3, 2, 1, arrancamos. Anthony from the neighborhood en Latino Mix. Dale play a tu bocina.